Well, hello, hello, hello. My name is Russell Hale. We're the Houston Brass Quintet, and we are live on top of the Hotel Icon here in beautiful downtown Houston. It's a beautiful day. Got the cityscape behind us, and we have a lot of music to get through today. So we're going to start it off. The little tune called 16 Tons features Alan Lindsay on the tuba. I hope you enjoy it. All right, thank you. That was a piece called 16 Tons. Like I said, we're the Houston Brass Quintet, and this is our final program of the DiverCity Project, which has been a blast for all of us, I know. We've done all of these different programs featuring different music from different cultures that are prominent here in Houston. And so that one, the first one we played was from the jazz program, which was the first program that we did. And then we're going to switch it up here and do something a little different from our Indian program, which we did. And so we're going to play a song from that. This is called Colleen's Flight, and it features Mr. Jesus Pacheco on the drums. And it's a cool song, and it's and Colleen means carpet or rug. So this is kind of like a rug carpet flight, right? And it's a really fun piece. We hope you enjoy Colleen's Flight. Orleans Flight. And that piece was by a man named Ryan Mabur. Mabur.
You're sounding really Texan, Russell.
That's a hard one to pronounce. Okay. Well, this is Texas, you know. This is Texas. All right. So we're going to move back to our jazz program for this next one. This is a piece by one of the great composers, certainly one of the great American composers, perhaps one of the great composers of all time, greatest of all time, according to some folks, and very influential man in the jazz world named Duke Ellington wrote this next tune. And it was arranged by a man named Ted Cox for brass quintet, and it's a great arrangement. It's exactly like the original recording of the Duke Ellington Orchestra playing it. And in that original recording, you can hear the great trumpet soloist Cootie Williams, and his solo was written for him. So I'm going to try to do my best Cootie Williams impression with the plunger mute. Don't worry, it's never been used for that. All right, so this is the Concerto for Cootie by Duke Ellington. Yeah. Cootie Williams, Duke Ellington, made us who we are. All right, so we did a lot of different programs for this thing. We did a jazz program, we did an Indian program, and we did a German program. And this next tune is from that one. It's called the Snow Waltz, or Die Schneewalzer. And it was arranged by our very own Alan Lindsay on the tuba. Woo! For this project, actually. And we did that program with Alan, another group that Alan plays with at Oktoberfest time, and hopefully you get to this year. And that group is called Eurofest, and we were they were an absolute pleasure to play with. We learned a lot from them. So, without further ado, this is the Schneewalzer, Snow Waltz. Did you catch the Christmassy Easter egg in there? Am I using Easter egg correctly? We might have to put that one on the Christmas album, actually. It's perfect. Alrighty. Now we have one that Jesus is the master of. He said, I wish. This is La Comparsita, so this is from our Latin program. And it is a tango from Argentina. This is the Argentinian tango, not to be confused with the other tangos, Spanish tangos, whatnot. And so, I don't think there's anything else I should say about this. It has a lot of notes for the trumpets, so that's kind of fun. So, without further ado, we have La Comparsita. Please enjoy it. All right. So, the next song we're going to do is from a program that never existed. It did exist, but we never played it. Because of COVID, we had to cut one of the programs, and so the one that we did, which I think was the right one to cut because it was the Western program, and there's Western culture in Houston, but, you know, it's not like a group of people. So, but we did put a program together, and this is one of the songs on that program, and we love this piece. It's called Scherzo by John Cheetham, and it sounds a lot like the old Western movies or the old Aaron Copland pieces written for orchestra and brass and things, and we just love playing it. So imagine you're on horseback and enjoy Scherzo. John Cheetham's Scherzo. Hope that puts you in the Western mood. Maybe we'll be able to have a rodeo. All right, so we're going to move on to the main event. This is the one we've been waiting for, the one we've been working on for almost a year now, actually. And so this is a world premiere. You all get to listen and experience it with us. And so, without further ado, I want to bring to the stage a few of the people behind the scenes that have made this possible. So we have Brendan Stevens, who is our author and wrote the poetry, the story that goes along with this, and we'll have him talk a little bit about that. We also have the composer himself, Mr. Stephen Bachicha, over here, and he's going to talk about the piece a little bit. So, without further ado, take it away, gentlemen.
Great, thank you, Russell. First of all, I want to just say a quick thank you, not quick, but like a big thank you to the Houston Brass Quintet. Thank you guys for putting this together. Amazing. You guys sound great. Also, thank you guys to Wonky Sound. This is going to be awesome. Super excited. To just say a quick thanks also to Houston Arts Alliance, and the Downtown District for putting this together. None of this would happen without all of that. So that's awesome. Yeah. So about this piece, this whole thing kind of came together through multiple different ways. Myself, I know trombonist Ryan Rangone, and I've been saying I want to write some music for you guys for a while, and he said, let's converse and make it happen. So Sarah, I put this together with the downtown district, and I said, well, what the whole idea about it being a celebration of the diversity in Houston. And I said, well, what if I write a piece emphasizing that, because I know you're putting together your different concerts, each celebrating the diversity. Well, what if I write a piece of music that is kind of culminating all that together? Then we got together with Brendan, because I said, well, having just music is just music and fine, but I think it'd be really cool if we can have words with it. So kind of put together a kind of a story, something that can be used, and other facets of just listening to music. Having words with this. So then we got Brendan to come along, and I'm gonna let Brendan talk a little bit about his part.
Yeah, I've done a few things like this before with other composers, but this is usually I'd be brought in after the piece was already composed, and I would just kind of add my words to it. But this was a true collaboration. This was me and Steven really sending ideas back and forth. He would have ideas for the story, and I might have some ideas for the music, and just kind of grew from there. We talked about a couple different ways to do it, but ultimately decided the best way to do it was to tell a straight narrative with a singular character moving their way throughout Houston. So that's what this piece is.
Yeah, so do you want to tell us a little bit about the storyline, maybe, just to set it up?
Do you want me to do it, or do you want to? Okay, so there you go, Mary, your thing. So the story, the way we came up with this was that we created a character, and I think it actually the character is the young man, and he moves to Houston, and he's not too thrilled about it because he just had to be here for a job, so he's here. And what happens in the piece of music is, in the first movement he's just here, and he's experiencing just being to Houston, and it's whatever. And as the piece goes on, in the second movement, he finds he's jogging, as the story goes, he's jogging, and he hears music, and he goes, checks it out, and he ends up at the Greek Fest, and he meets a guy who talks to him like, yeah, there's all kinds of these things if you pay attention to them. So that kind of sparks his idea. So then he goes on, and he finds what is the next one? I don't remember now. Gospel. Thank you. So he's out doing some things, and he finds he ends up in the wards, and he starts hears gospel music. He's like, oh, this is amazing, and that leads him to salsa music. Sorry, not salsa music, but like a salsa
polka,
club.
And then salsa.
Polka.
Yeah.
Jesus, I'm forgetting the order of my own music. He ends up in a polka.
Like Oktoberfest.
Yeah, Oktoberfest kind of a thing. And then that leads him to salsa.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think your favorite part is salsa.
It kind of is. I'm alluding to it a lot inadvertently. He ends up at a salsa club, and he's just jamming, and his mind is blown when he leaves. And then he finally ends up at this reminiscing of the western expanse of Texas, and he looks around, and it's just expansive, and that's kind of the narrative of what happens. And he realizes that no, it's in the story, Brendan had wonderful words at the end. It's like, Houston's not just a place, Houston is home, and I really kind of worked with that. There's really good words in that to help me to come up with what I did. You want to add any more?
I think that did a great job explaining it, and I'm really excited to be hearing this for the first time.
Yeah, and then Steven, I think there's a couple little Easter egg kind of moments in the piece throughout the piece.
There's
too.
a couple of, I want to just talk a little bit about what you're going to hear, if that's cool as well.
Yeah.
So the whole piece starts off with I call it a funky groove. And this little funky groove, I call it just the man's motive. It's kind of just there, you'll recognize it. And at the end of every movement, that motive changes, and it's being changed by how he's feeling about being in Houston. Something happens, so that by the end, it's still that funky, that kind of funk sound, but it's changed completely, and you'll be able to recognize how that's changed and what has happened. I don't want to spoil it, but you'll be able to tell that it's there and something, he's happy about it now. So kind of listen for that funky groove as it changes throughout every movement. Also, because this is a piece, about Texas and Houston, I decided to have a little bit of fun, and I threw in a little, what Russell was saying, the Easter egg. So in every single movement, someone plays The Stars at Night. The stars at night. You'll hear it. And every single instrument,
deep in the heart of Texas.
It comes from deep in the heart of Texas.
The first few notes of Deep in the Heart of Texas.
Every single instrument has it once, and you'll hear it in every movement except the last one. So, kind of take a listen out for that.
And then in the last movement, there's something very special.
In the last movement, after Hurricane Harvey, Houston was kind of devastated. That the River Oaks Chamber Orchestra commissioned a piece of music by composer Anthony DiLorenzo, and he wrote them a piece called "Anthem of Hope." And I thought there's absolutely no way that that this shouldn't also reflect that. So I kind of tied in the Anthem of Hope in this as well, just to kind of reinstate of how wonderful Houston is and how
resilient.
Exactly, resilient and great. Why wouldn't someone, the young man, just kind of need to feel that power of Houston?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you guys can think of, Russell or Sarah?
I think it's great. I'm excited to play it. We're excited to play it.
Very cool.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Brendan.
Oh, also, big thanks
also,
for Damon.
Our narrator, Damon.
Jumped in decided to, because of course it's words, so he's narrating it. So big thank you to Damon as well.
Yeah, we'll bring Damon into the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Damon Passmore here. He's going to, he has the voice. He is the voice. And he's going to read all of the prose along with us. So, I guess we're ready. All right. This is Stephen Bachicha's City Moves.
The young man had only moved to Houston recently. It hadn't been planned, just a job opportunity that was too good to turn down. He'd always told himself that one place wasn't much different than anywhere else. You'd find people, some restaurants, some buildings, a stadium or two. How much different could Houston be from any other place? When he got to the city, he did what he always did. Woke up early for a morning run. Went to work. Came home, ordered delivery. Repeat. This went on and on. Then, one day, while on his run, he saw a line of vendors and the blue and white bars of the Greek flag flying alongside the Lone Star flag. Ordinarily, he would have run right by, but it was the weekend and all he had to look forward to was another long day waiting for nothing. So he wandered on sight, taking in the smell of olive oil, garlic, and seasoned beef. Beautiful women in scarlet embroidered bodices danced in sequence. There was something electric in the air. A man wearing an Astros cap put his arm around him. "First time?" he asked. The young man responded, "Yeah, I had no idea there was something like this in Houston." You must not have been looking. There are events for pretty much every culture, practically every day. If you're looking. Even after the young man had left, stomach full and legs aching from dancing, what the man in the Astros cap said stuck with him. The young man decided he wouldn't be someone who kept to himself anymore. he'd go out into the world. He'd understand his new home. And in the wards, he felt welcomed. Candy-colored cars with gold elbows blasted gospel and blues. Everything felt a little slower and screwed like dripping molasses. Songs of lost opportunities and loves couldn't stop the blind hope hidden beneath those growls. And it was like God was there in line with him at the food trucks and pop-ups. The electricity he felt there was everywhere. It seemed to swell and overwhelm him. The more that the young man went into the world, the more he found it to be a carnival romp. Everywhere, he felt welcomed in half steps. Kolache in hand, he was never far from an ice house or dive bar or beer garden. That was when he felt most home. Home wasn't an apartment in Montrose. Home was community. As night after night, the young man ventured out into Houston beyond his running route, he couldn't help but wonder how he'd missed so much. Suddenly, there was an upbeat rhythm whispering through the wind. It was in the Houston heat. A young woman passed by, clad in a red dress, hot as chili peppers. As he followed her, they were surrounded by a pulsing energy and the whirl of dancers and swishing dresses. It was as if the world was sparkling in reflected sunlight. The young man couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by all he'd once missed. As soon as it started, it was over. The dancers disappeared behind him, and he was back on the city street. He looked around himself in utter confusion. What was that? Making peace with the mystery, a lazy smile appeared on his face as he walked on. In time, the more he journeyed, everything came better into view. All those notes created bouncing harmonies. Past the bayous and gulf wet in the air, buried underneath everything, there was desert and tumbleweeds. In that sweet hickory smoke, there was hope. Understood that Texas sadness.